A professor at the University of Oregon, Paul Slavic, conducted research which showed that people feel more compassion for a single child in need of medical attention than if there were a group of children in need of the same medical attention. The study showed that people responded more compassionately and donated more to the individual child instead of the group of children. Something similar happens when the world hears of a genocide. During the Holocaust, Winston Churchill is famously quoted as describing a genocide as a crime without a name. Following the Holocaust, the crime was given a name, and the term genocide was coined by a lawyer of Polish-Jewish descent. The word genocide is taken from the Greek word genos, meaning family, tribe, or race, and the Latin word cide, meaning killing. Since then, many genocides have come and gone with little help from the international community. Hello, thrill thinkers. Let's explore some genocides of the past and present. The Holocaust. In 1933, Adolf Hitler declared himself the ruler of Germany and led the Nazi Party, short for the National Socialist German Workers' Party. Hitler believed Germans were superior to all other groups, and this belief led to the persecution of the Jewish population. At first, the genocide started with only the persecution of the Jewish political opponents. Jewish-owned businesses were overtaken, and Jewish doctors and lawyers lost their clients. Many Jews fled Germany. Slowly, concentration camps were built to imprison Jews, where they were forced to work and live in poor conditions. Eventually, in 1941, the first extermination camps were built to kill Jews by the masses with the use of gas chambers. Hitler expanded his empire to other countries including Denmark, Norway, Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, and France. Jewish people in German territory were marked with a yellow star. Although Christians as a group did not actively support the Nazis, the Christian doctrines were used in Hitler's anti-Jewish policies. In 1945, Hitler took his own life. The Nazi rule came to an end. The Nuremberg trials were held to prosecute officials for the crimes of genocide. The Jewish survivors of the Holocaust were given a homeland. In 1948, Israel was created. In 1953, the German government started to make payments to Jewish people for the atrocities they endured. Genocide of Native Americans. The Indian Removal Bill of 1830 was passed under President Andrew Jackson. The bill allowed the U.S. federal government to take land in the East from the natives in order for Americans to build homes and grow crops. The natives were sent west in promise of new land. Many Native Americans died on the journey west that is now referred to as the Trail of Tears. During the eventual expansion of Americans westward, many massacres were led by the American cavalry, and many soldiers were awarded with medals for overtaking native land. Indian territory slowly shrank until 1907, when Oklahoma became a state and the Indian Territory was gone completely. In his annual address to Congress in 1833, Jackson denounced Indians, stating they have neither the intelligence, the industry, the moral habits, nor the desire of improvement which are essential to any favorable change in their condition. Established in the midst of another and a superior race, they must necessarily yield to the force of circumstances and error before long disappear. Armenian Genocide. Armenia was one of the first nations to adopt Christianity. It was independent of other countries until it was overtaken by the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire was ruled by Muslims, but the Armenians kept their religion intact at the cost of high taxes and few political rights. Still, the Armenians were better educated and lived successfully under the Ottoman Empire. In 1890, the ruler of the empire, Turkish Sultan Abdulhamid II, was afraid Armenia would lose allegiance to the empire and be absorbed by the Christian neighbors, Russia. These suspicions led to the massacre of hundreds of thousands of Armenians by the Turkish military. Eventually, the Armenians fought back by volunteering their people to the Russian army to fight the Turks. The Turkish government fought back in the worst possible way. The genocide began in 1915. Armenians were forced out of their homes and led on marches without food or water. Other atrocities followed, including drowning, burning, raping, and shooting. The Ottoman Empire was home to 2 million Armenians. Following the genocide, there were 388,000 Armenians remaining. To this day, the Turkish government refuses to recognize that a genocide happened, and in Turkey it is illegal to talk about what happened to the 1.5 million Armenians. Turkey is an important ally of the United States, and until recently in 2010, even the US government and media had not recognized the killings as a genocide. Rwandan Genocide. Rwanda, a small country in Africa, is home to two ethnicities, the Hutus and the Tutsis. 85% of the population was Hutus. When Rwanda was ruled by Belgium, the rulers favored the minority Tutsi population, which is what began ethnic tensions in Rwanda. In 1959, many Tutsis had foresight to flee the country before Rwanda gained independence in 1962. In 1993, Rwanda's president Habyarimana signed an agreement with the Tutsi political party to share power in Rwanda's government. Hutu extremists were not happy. In 1994, the president's plane was shot down and the genocide began the same day. 800,000 people were killed in a span of 3 months. Shortly thereafter, the Tutsi party regained control, and in 2003, a new constitution was adopted, which excluded reference to any ethnicity. In 1995, high military officials were prosecuted and convicted for the crime of genocide. These were the first prosecution trials after the Nuremberg trials of the Holocaust. Myanmar. In Myanmar, the Rohingya are Muslims, while the rest of the population is Buddhist. The Rohingyans are looked down upon as illegal immigrants and terrorists from Bangladesh. 3,000 Rohingyans have been killed, and 400,000 are without homes, and about 1 million have returned to Bangladesh. Although Myanmar is now welcoming back Rohingyans, a pleasant return and normalcy does not seem likely, as there is no guarantee of citizenship, and the same military that carried out genocide against them is still in power today. South Sudan. In South Sudan, two ethnic groups, the Dinka and the Nuer, are trying to wipe each other out in a conflict of ethnic cleansing. Thousands have fled their homes, even though a peace agreement was signed, but the killings are still ongoing. Iraq and Syria. In Iraq and Syria, a terrorist group called ISIS, Islamic State in Iraq and Syria, is working to eliminate non-Muslims in both countries. The U.S. has intervened and won back a majority of the territory claimed by ISIS, but the effects of the genocide are still ongoing. Central African Republic. In the Central African Republic, the Christian president was overthrown by Muslim groups in 2013. Presently, the UN has reported there is a genocide between the Christians and the Muslims in the country. Sudan. In Sudan, the Arab military began killing non-Arabs in 2003. It was much publicized in the news during that time, and since then the genocide in Darfur has increased again, with refugee camps of non-Arabs being attacked. Unfortunately, genocide is a daily reality for many religious and ethnic groups today. In 2004, the 10th anniversary of the Rwandan Genocide, UN Secretary General Kofi Annan outlined a 5-point action plan for preventing genocide. Number 1, prevent armed conflict, which usually provides the context for genocide. Number 2, protect civilians in armed conflict, including through UN peacekeepers. Number 3, end impunity through judicial action in national and international courts. Number 4, gather information and set up an early warning system. And number 5, take swift and decisive action, including military action. Change can be brought through individual and collective action. If you found this video interesting, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more upcoming content. Thank you for watching.